All right, Ian, we had an announcement. This isn't the Dreamcade replay.
No, but
this isn't the Atari box. But this could be something potentially.
I don't know. Here comes another new console.
Okay.
It's called the Mad Box.
Not the Mad Cats.
It is Slightly Mad Studios has announced that they are CEO Ian Bell has announced that they're developing the Mad Box.
I'm gonna pick up Hogan while you talk.
It looks kind of like a computer tower, just like a fancy computer tower.
But aren't all the new consoles? Well, I should put on the mic.
Yeah, I mean, this one really, really looks like it, though.
But aren't Xbox One's just a fancy computer tower or PS4? I mean,
but all of the renders of it so far have had the insides blurred out, so you can't see anything that's on the inside.
It looks like it's not too far off from, I guess, from a really fancy Alienware PC in terms of the colors and neon shit going on, but it's orange and not green. And there's a big-ass Newton fish on the side.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
According to Bell, the Mad Box is light and will feature a deployable handle.
Whoa.
And it will
handle.
The system will talk to other Mad Boxes without cables.
So, Bluetooth.
Right?
Is that...
Bell, the claims are continue with most powerful console ever built.
Okay.
Featuring specs that will be equivalent to a very fast PC 2 years from now. So whatever they have in 2 years, that's what I'm putting in it.
Well, a lot of times, whatever graphics, capabilities of the new console, a lot of times it's cutting edge.
Sure.
And it takes PC can catch up for whatever reason, but it takes a couple years.
Will support most major VR headsets. System will offer
90
4K.
frames per second per eye for virtual reality play, and the system will offer 4K visuals, which I always argue for most people they still don't need it, but if you have a big TV, it's nice. All right, we don't have anything word about price. Ship around the world in about 3 years and be competitive. Here, okay, there's lots of problems for this.
Yeah.
Within 3 years, we're going to have the next generation of consoles from Sony and Microsoft. Probably next year, probably 2020, where we might have those consoles already. Even though they're still like relevant, the games can still be supported, especially since they have updated versions. They're probably going to get a new console. It's like every 2.5, 3 years you have a new version of a console coming out. Right.
So this needs to, this needs to be spec'd to, basically be a new next-gen console.
They are positioning this to come out in almost the medium life of the next generation. If it's 3 years from now, it's going to be...
It'll be like a year in.
Before the PS5 Pro, it'd be the PS5, but not the upgraded version of that. So it could have a chance. If the architecture is the same, you can easily port to it. It makes sense, to do that. But they have to get developers on board. It's like anything else.
Yeah, with every single freaking new console
it's chicken and the egg. You need customers for developers to care.
Right. And video game consoles are in a place where, like, people don't even know. Hell, we'll talk about it with Nintendo in a little bit. Video game console developers themselves or manufacturers don't even know exactly what the landscape's going to look like in 3 years. The landscape for this sort of stuff changes so incredibly quick. So we really are at a point, and we say it every time we talk about these new consoles. Who is this? What's the market for it? Who's asking for this?
Sure.
Who wants this? We already have to decide between, depending on, monetary situation, you have to decide between Microsoft or PlayStation or Nintendo. And all of these companies have really good working relationships with their publishers and developers.
Sure.
I just feel like I don't know.
There's no room for a third.
I don't know what the fetish is with everyone wanting to build their own console, but it's just, we've seen this how many times? It's not viable.
We're no longer in the 90s when you can have a library that's a chunk of it could be exclusive, so it can still make sense. Because even when you say Genesis and Super Nintendo, there was a lot of crossover, but there was still 50% of the libraries were unique at that point. By this point, though, it's not 50% that are unique. And it's like 15% that are unique.
And all you have to do is look back and see how things like the Jaguar and the 3DO and all those things fared when they got released on markets. These were all...
There's too many consoles.
These were large I mean,
And they were powerful consoles in theory, like,
Yeah.
like 3DO.
and some of them like the 3DS, I mean, they were backed by big companies.
CDI,
So
same thing.
I,
Philips was a big company.
I just, I don't know. I don't want to constantly piss on everyone's parade, but stop making new consoles.
we don't know-
Stop trying.
And we don't know in 5 years if this might be all. We might be all cloud gaming in 5-6 years. We have no idea. Nintendo's experimenting with it right now.
Right.
With running more powerful games on the Switch that go to a server and you just basically are playing it off of another computer. That could be the norm at some point. Not our norm, but the norm at some point. Especially in developing nations, that could be something. You need a fast connection. That's the only thing. The connection has to be fast. But I got fiber optic now. They're running fiber optic lines a lot of places, not everywhere. So we don't know. You're right. We don't know what we're going to be looking at 3 to 5 years from now.
I guess
VR, no one gives a shit about VR. Like it's such a niche of a niche at this point that you can't build your console around VR. You can't.
Right.
Like that's not going to be a marketing ploy. Plus, the other two consoles are powerful enough anyway to do VR, and PCs are. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just to tone myself down. I would love to see like something come in and shake it up, but
yeah,
it's not. I mean,
competition is good.
I just
capitalism.
I just don't see that. I don't see the crack through which they can squeeze in here, and to be planning.
They don't see the foothold that they can establish
Yeah.
in the market unless they paid like 5 companies. Unless they said to Rockstar, "Hey, Rockstar, we're going to give you $1 billion to make GTA 6 exclusive to our console."
Yeah.
Did something like that. That's where I probably would have to take, or $500 million in order to sell it, and people would be forced to buy it. You have to force people to buy the console for the games. A lot of people probably bought PS4s for Spider-Man because that was a great game and that sold like 9 million.
They sold like fucking crazy.
I almost pulled the trigger on like a Black Friday deal where it was like insane. It was like $200 for a PS4 with Spider-Man. I was like, I almost did it just for that.
People bought 360s for Halo 3, and people bought PS4s for Spider-Man. And
It's all about
you need that.
You need, as the late Keith Robinson said in the video game years, you need that killer app. It was Space Invaders in the 2600. You need the killer app for your console to sell it. If you don't, it doesn't matter how fast it is, how cool the neon rockfish mutant thing on the side is. That's what you need. So without that, there's no draw. Without that, there's no customers. Developers aren't going to waste their time. All right? Yeah.